if this guy's single, he's taking care of business, he don't have no children and nothing like that, I'm not going to sit here in good conscience and tell this man that he's supposed to get with a single mother. Absolutely not.
Nope.
And that's
100%.
Cool. But there's so many single fathers that get with single mothers.
I want women to understand this. Just because a man has a penis don't make him a man. He could be a male. There's not a lot. Most men aren't lying. Let's make sure that's understood.
Okay.
Right?
That.
So some men can raise another man's child because the real father ain't a lion. He's more like a gazelle. You know what I'm saying? The lion is now here. And I believe, I believe in God and I believe in everything is a reason, right?
Right.
And like my dad is a bitch ass nigga. My step pops, he ain't playing. You feel me? So like I was already one that wasn't playing coming out the woodworks.
Yeah.
So then if my dad was there, hypothetically, I would probably clash with him because he was already soft. You know what I'm saying? And I don't believe that just because you gave birth to something means that you are the best one to raise that.
Come on, let's talk about
that person that you gave birth to, whether you're a man or a woman.
So you believe nurture versus nature?
Yes.
Because nurturing that child is more important than possibly more important than nature.
I believe that nature.
Absolutely.
See, here's the thing: we get so
crazy.
confused about nature as if you are the only one of this child. There's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10 generations of nature within this child that you ain't exuding yet. You remember the Punnett Square? In the Punnett Square, you had a 1 in 4 chance of being something.
Yes.
Right. So this child can have the bottom right quadrant, and you might have top left.
Yeah.
You ain't fit to to raise that child, to be honest. So maybe somebody else who is in that bottom right quadrant is going to be able to understand that man or that young woman or that young boy and really help them grow into what they need to be.
So you would advise your son to get with a woman that already have children.
If that
Children
you would be okay with that?
Children,
remove yourself out.
I don't think nobody advises those scenarios for their
But see,
children,
the
right?
problem is that
But sometimes it just happens
happens
because they just might be in love. You can't control
you
who
can't
loves.
because marriage is a business first. It's a business
Do
first.
some.
We know statistics of what it is when men are where children are raised in certain type of household. We know what the statistics are, right? And so I'm not going to sit here and say a man isn't a man based off of some criteria that we make up, right? Because I use data. The reality is this: what we are doing is excusing bad behavior. And instead of us going to the mothers and say, hey, why are you not accountable for who it is that you decided to open up your legs to?
bullshit.
Because we ain't having that conversation. The only thing we saying is, oh, that's a bitch ass nigga. But you opened up your legs to him. He wasn't a bitch ass nigga when you had sex
He
with
might
him.
have been.
When you know. But my point is
I mean, if we're
when we
it.
continue to do this, we validate bad behavior.
What is the bad behavior?
Because you're saying that you can recover from this, when in reality we know statistically that child has a much greater chance of going to jail, a much greater chance of needing therapy, a much greater chance of joining a gang. He has a much greater chance of being less successful. And instead of us saying, hey, hold that accountable so that this don't happen in the next generation.
I think I'm missing context.
No.
If what?
If
He has a much greater
is,
chance of doing all that. If what?
To say it's a guy's responsibility to raise this child based off of a village concept or a community concept, or because he's a real man, removes the accountability from the woman of actually making sure that she picked the right guy and to marry before she carried in the first place.
So what
Well,
happens?
I married before I carried, and then I
but
got a divorce.
But that's not the
Can I
norm,
speak
because
on
what
that?
I see on Instagram
Because I have
and
a
social media
stepfather.
is people
I'm trying to
saying,
figure out what we talking about.
what I see on
It's a
Instagram
lot.
and social media is
I'm
when
lost
a
a
woman get pregnant, regardless of whether she married, it's congratulations, sis.
Okay.
That's what I see.
I
Okay.
agree. Listen,
Should we
we're
throw
not
stones at her?
Absolutely.
Antoine, shut up. You do not do that.
You said that
100%.
congratulating a woman, but if you want to throw accountability to anybody, throw it at the man that left
It's
the
a
family.
small minority.
Right?
It's a small percentage of men that's having the majority of the children. Most black men are not having children out of wedlock. That is a falsehood. And so when we sit here, when we want to solve for a problem, we solve for the majority, not the minority. And when you look at the statistics, Most men, most black men are not having children out of wedlock. It's a small minority of men that's having the majority of the children with a whole lot of women. That's
And
the
is
reality.
that you got that from a
how do a woman have a child without a wedlock without the man too?
What I'm saying is, if we got 99% of the men, and we say we're gonna hold all of them accountable.
No, I'm saying like if the woman had the child at wedlock, she didn't have it by herself.
I'm explaining
so did he.
If we got 99% of men to do the right thing, it takes 1% of men to populate the majority of the women.
True indeed.
So even if you hold all men accountable, it doesn't solve for the problem.
No, it's not about all men. It's about holding everybody accountable.
We do, but men by default are automatically held accountable.
Let me go back to this stepdad situation real fast, because I have a stepfather, right? Mm-hmm. But he didn't raise me. My grandfather raised me, mm-hmm. right? So I didn't personalize my stepfather because that's who my mom is married to.
Yeah, that's who your mom chose.
That's her relationship. I have examples. Around me that mm-hmm. I don't have to look towards him. His only job, honestly, for me, is just to be example of a good person, a human being, period. Right. I don't need him to be my father. I don't need him for none of that shit, mm-hmm. right? It's just simply just be a good dude, treat my mom good. And I mean, honestly, I don't care what y'all going through. Y'all not being physical, that's fine.
How old were you when he came into your life?
I was in middle school, so that's what, like,
you was
12.
already big.
Well, I was big because I'm 6'5", bro. I've been big.
No, I'm saying you were older as a kid. You had already
middle
had
schooler
whatever was in you.
No, what I'm saying is...
No, wait. I know, listen. What's
happening here?
Okay,
well, I mean, he's 11 years old. All
right, cool. All right, let's reset. Mm-hmm. All right. So one of the facts that you gave is in regards to children that, you know, statistically messing up more so, that usually comes from a single mother household, correct?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So if we take the conversation to it being a two-parent...
Single mother household. So when I say two-parent household, I'm saying married, having children, raising those children.
Cool. So let's take it to a two-parent household where one parent is a step-parent. Mm-hmm. That's still a two-parent household, right?
Yeah, but it's not the same.
You don't think so?
And I personally, again, I would never advise a guy, if this guy is single, he's taking care of business, he don't have no children and nothing like that, I'm not going to sit here in good conscience and tell this man that he's supposed to get with a single mother. Absolutely not.
And that's
100%.
Cool. But there's so many single fathers that get with single mothers. So many single fathers.
So we just speaking about are we just speaking about the men who don't have children? Is that the reference? Or are you saying just all men?
Because I understand the men that doesn't have children, but there's so many single fathers that look towards.
I mean, like I said, the majority of men have to be realistic
here. Okay, where are you living? Right, we're living in America, and 1 out of every 4 kids are born with a single parent.
Yeah.
Or raised with a single parent. Mm-hmm. Right, and the rest of the world, it's at an 8%. So we're about 3 to 4 times more likely to have a child be raised out of wedlock or with only one parent, right? So when you look at the numerics, you're more likely than not to run, if you're a guy who doesn't have any kids, you're more likely than not, depending on your age, to run into a woman that has a kid, right? So I don't think we're advising anybody, hey, I advise you to go find a woman that has a kid with another man. Yeah. No, but what I'm saying is that the offer's not on the table depending on her behavior. Now, if she has 3, 4, 5 baby fathers, I would never advise that, right? Mm-hmm. Sorry to those women. But if you have one man you had one man and now you have one child with that man, and maybe even 2, and that's something that you want to tie up your boots and walk in the path you want to walk down,
crazy.
I would say go ahead.
But that's why I brought up single fathers, because when you see a woman that is a single mother, that child has a father. Yeah. Right? Who's a single father?
That's insane.
Like, are we not putting those two to the...